If it's in the ether for a trade to occur, this is the time for it to happen because they still haven't paid him. I wrote something over the weekend about what it would take to get him, I think, to where he would be happy, especially when Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, the GM of the Vikings, has said we regard him as a top non-quarterback. So forget about receiver market. Let's look at Nick Bosa's contract at $34 million a year in new money. I took that as the starting point for a Justin Jefferson contract, a 3-year extension. It's not hard to do. My point was, if you want to do it, Vikings, it's not hard to do. You've already satisfied the hardest part. We've got this special unicorn talent. Let's figure out how to pay him in a way that makes him happy. After we've said we regard him as a top non-quarterback. You've set the market. You've identified it. Just go put the deal together. My point is, until the deal is done, when you've got the possibility of the Vikings going from 11-2 or 11-3, there's a chance that they package their top receiver for that offer, as they packaged, under different circumstances, Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Before that, Percy Harvin, who was an Offensive Rookie of the Year and an MVP candidate through the first quarter of the 2012 season, and Randy Moss before that. Look, they've had great receivers since 1976. They haven't been to a Super Bowl with great receivers since 1976. They haven't had a great quarterback, a truly great year-in and year-out quarterback, other than Dante Culpepper for a few years, 1 year in particular, 2004. Brett Favre, 2009. Kirk Cousins was looking that way last year, but we know what happened. They want a franchise quarterback, and they may have to part ways with a guy who can hit the crossbar from the 45 to get him.
Yeah, listen, I mean, maybe. I wouldn't condone that behavior. I wouldn't condone a move like that. You know, you talk about it all the time. I mean, who talks about it more than you? The draft being a crapshoot. Wait, we got so-called best player in football that's not a quarterback right here. We're going to trade it in, especially if you get to pick number 3. If they do that, I would be like, oh, my God, you're going to give Justin Jefferson and the picks for the 3rd quarterback in the draft? That would be like that. I think you're crazy, Minnesota, and I think I have to talk Florio off of the ledge of maybe not letting him be a Vikings fan anymore. So that's where, you know, but yeah, maybe to get to 2, you might have to start dangling some players out there. 2 is Jaden Daniels territory. Yesterday, I'm going to clear this up too while we're on the subject. Remember yesterday, we kind of talked about Washington, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I told you at the end of the show, I had somebody reach out to me to go, if it's not Jaden Daniels number 2 to the Commanders, it will not be Drake May at number 2 to the Commanders, right? So then, of course, I was like, all right, well, that's somebody I really trust. And I made one other call later on in the afternoon and kind of got the same answer. So, but either way, getting back to the point, Jaden Daniels would be even more expensive, I think, to go to 2 than compared to 3. I think that's a different story altogether. Yeah.
Let me ask you this, because fundamentally, using a first-round pick, for all the teams that will be using a first-round pick on Thursday night, you are essentially trading a first-round pick for that player. People don't think of it that way, but that's what you're doing. You have a first-round pick. You could do anything with that first-round pick. You could trade it for a player. When you use it, you are trading it for a player. You're giving it up for this rookie who has never played in the NFL. So with that basic context, which is 100% true, even if people don't realize it, would you trade straight up, Justin Jefferson for Jaden Daniels?
Ooh. No, I don't think I would. No.
Why?
It'd be close. I feel like Justin Jefferson's really special. I do. I feel like Kevin O'Connell and what they got on offense is pretty damn good and special too. That, off the top of my head, a player like that for where a position I go, wait, I know this guy's the second best of the group, but I still think my offense can look really awesome with the 3rd and 4th guy of the group too. I guess that's where my quick basic logic, if you putting me on the spot right now, would take me without thinking about it very much.
We made the point recently.
That's a tough one.
About Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. I think this was Friday when you were in your hammock with your pina colada and your blunt.
Right.
getting ready for 420. But we didn't even talk about 420.
I know.
yesterday.
You didn't
We
even
so caught
ask
up
me
with
about
other
it
things.
yesterday.
But,
I know. Yep.
but the quarterback, you get the great quarterback. There are going to be players at every other position that come and go, including receiver. You get a great quarterback, he's going to outlive Justin Jefferson.
Yes,
in Minnesota.
he will.
His prime is going to be starting as Justin Jefferson's is ending.
Right.
And they've got Jordan Addison. That's the guy we never mentioned.
Yeah.
Jordan Addison was special last year. He doesn't look it. He looks skinny. He looks fragile. He looks like he's maybe a biscuit heavier than Devontae Smith, if that much. But he can play. He was great last year.
Yes, he can.
So the thing they haven't had in that franchise since Fran Tarkenton retired was and is a franchise quarterback. And when you hear Kevin O'Connell, the clip we played yesterday when he was at that church event, he has resisted going after other potential quarterbacks, presumably in the draft each of the last 2 years, 2022, 2023, because the next guy has got to be the guy. So if the guy is Jaden Daniels,
right.
if the guy is Jaden Daniels, look, now.
And I got it. Listen, I hear what you're saying. If you have your guy where you go, like, that's him, let's hit, right? So maybe that's where my answer's, like, if it was Caleb Williams sitting there, right, and how I believe in Caleb Williams, I'd go, make that trade, right? I really like Jaden Daniels, but I don't quite put him in that class of a Caleb Williams, Joe Burrow, C.J. Stroud, Mahomes, Josh Allen, the other guys I looked at as number one in their class, right? So that's why Jaden Daniels, I'd be like, just a little bit in between. Caleb Williams, though, or a guy that you were sold on that's the next guy, to your point, okay, maybe I'm doing it. You're right about that.
And the reason that I'm even saying this is the Vikings have had ample opportunity to give Justin Jefferson a second contract. And as we've established, and this is a proven fact in the NFL, there aren't many proven facts in the NFL, but this one is 100% true as well. The longer you wait, the more expensive it's going to get. The Devontae Smith contract is going to make it more expensive because Justin Jefferson, far better, far more accomplished, far more talented, all due respect, than Devontae Smith. And Smith got $25 million a year in new money. Again, it's $34 million. That's the number. And that comes straight from Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. That's the number. And when they start throwing around, we've talked about this before, they start throwing around, do you know how much he turned down? That's not coming from his camp. That's coming from the Vikings. There's been some frustration that I've detected. You know, the Vikings may be playing games here. If you value, and that's my point, they wouldn't be playing games with Justin Jefferson if they truly valued him the way they should. They would have paid him by now. So maybe they don't regard him deep down, just like with Kirk Cousins. Oh, we really want him. We really want him. We really want him. Man, we can't wait to get rid of him. We can't. Oh, God, thank God the Falcons took this guy off our hands. We're ready to move on and get our franchise quarterback. We don't want the 36-year-old guy on one leg who has to stand in front of the mound to throw the pitch because he's still not 100% confident.
I hear that.
Achilles tendon.
This is guy in his prime that can take over the league. And
they may be wrong. They may be wrong, but they haven't paid him yet.
I hear you. Everything you say, I mean, I don't disagree with you other than the one thing of, and hey, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, he cornered himself a little with that comment. Okay, and I don't really remember him saying that, but I totally trust you. Right, I trust you. That's a tough one because again, that's significant in the NFL, and where I could see Minnesota going, whoa, a little bit is, I mean, you're by all due accounts, that is like blowing the market out of the water twice. I mean, that's what that is. I mean, you don't see that like almost ever, really. Next guy up is going to have like a third more money than anybody else at the top of the market. That's where I can imagine them being like, whoa. And you said Nick Bosa, and they're saying, wait, Nick Bosa, this is, a year later or 2 years later, that's gone up more now. And if that's the case, and they're going, wait, we want $36 million a year or something like that, I could see them certainly trying to be creative, figure out a way, oh, no, what do we do here? And maybe that's adding to this trepidation or them dragging their feet here.
From Indianapolis, scouting combine, across the room from where we were set up, we had Coach Kevin O'Connell. We did not have Kwesi Adofo-Mensah. He said this. We've said it and we'll continue to say it. We think Justin Jefferson is the best wide receiver in the league and should be compensated as such. We think he's one of the best non-quarterbacks in the league and we think he should be compensated as such. You've
Oh.
already written the check.
Yeah, you did.
You've already written the check when
Yeah.
you say that.
Right.
And when you accept that as truth, it should take 1 day to do the contract. 1 day to sit down and hammer it out. You show that it's a priority. You call the agents, come to Minnesota. Let's get this done. We want to get this done. We want to pay your guy today. We're ready to make him one of the highest paid non-quarterbacks in the league. We've already said he should be. Let's do this today. Let's not screw around. Let's not F around and find out. Let's do it. And I guess the fact that it hasn't happened keeps me wondering, at the end of the day, is this just a stepping stone toward using Justin Jefferson as the bait to get the franchise quarterback?
All right. So, all right. I mean,
I don't know how I feel about it, but I feel like that could still, until it doesn't happen Thursday, I feel like
Kawesi put his mouth, and he's got to write a check that maybe he can't cash there. All right. So that's your gut. You think something like that might go down, right? Like I'm going to say no way. That would be my feel. The guy he's awesome. He's special. And yes, to get to number 2 for that, I mean, I wouldn't let Justin Jefferson go. Not this day and age, the league we're in right now, the player, the coach I got with him, right? I think he's in another level than Jordan Addison. I'm going to say no. But you like, if you had to bet a few dollars here, you saying you think this might happen here?
I don't bet because I like to keep my money.
All right, well, maybe imagine you're in that Las Vegas, place where that thing didn't work, and you couldn't quite figure out how to work the machine like an old man.
Somebody won like $750,000 on one of those machines a few weeks after we were there too. I can't reconcile what they should believe as to Justin Jefferson with their actions. They should have gotten this done before last year, before the start of the regular season. They didn't want to guarantee, as best I can tell, the first 3 years of the deal. I think it's going to take 3 years fully guaranteed too. But you do it for a truly special player. You do it for a Justin Jefferson. You scratched off the lottery ticket and you got a winner. You got a Hall of Famer. You keep that player on your team as long as you can. As long as he's performing at that level, you don't let him go. What are they doing? What are they doing? I mean, look, last year I fully support when a guy has yet to get the reward he has earned and he has an injury, not coming back, not risking further injury, re-injury, aggravation until he's 100%. There's no way he misses that many games last year if he's got his financial security. And I support it. It's not malingering. It's being a good business person. I'm not going to put myself at any risk whatsoever until I have a contract that puts the risk on you, the team. If I come back and play to try to help us get to the playoffs and I blow out my hamstring and I need surgery or something, I'm not going to take that risk until you give me my reward. So they've already seen what happens by screwing around and not getting him paid. He missed 9-10 games last year or something like that with that hamstring as he was waiting for it to be 100%, and he should have. Now this year, what are they going to do? They're not going to sign him before the start of the season? See, this is what drives me crazy. Just do it today. Do it today. Ziggy Wolf, Mark Wolf, we know you pay attention at some level. You got people who are going to tell you what we were saying today about your team. What are you doing? Pick up the phone and do it today, or trade him for Jaden Daniels. One or the other. Let's get this resolved by Thursday night, one way or the other, so I can go on with my life.
Apparently, yeah, I can tell you. Well, maybe you do that. You buy another gaming system for them, all right, and then we'll call it a deal, all right? You got to do that. Hey, if they got to contribute, you got to contribute. You know, you want to spend the first 15 minutes breaking this down, I think you need to add a little sweetener on the pot for Justin Jefferson.
Hey, let me tell you. In addition to the gaming system Justin Jefferson got for being the PFT 2022 Offensive Player of the Year, I expect something that goes pretty fast if I wanted to, sitting out in my driveway, if I can get him a new contract this week. If he gets a new contract this week, Justin, if you get a new contract this week, baby, I like a black Ferrari with a red interior. That's all I'm saying, and I'm kidding about that, by the way. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.